cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.
Hello everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of V8 Supercars Americas. We are here in Okayama, Japan, as we bring you round 11 of the V8 Supercars Americas series. JD is not going to be with us tonight. He is out of town, so it's going to be me with you here tonight, and I am Kane Kraft, and alongside me tonight is going to be Martin Carroll. Marty, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, Kane. Glad to be here. Unfortunately, JD can't be with us, but hopefully I can fill his shoes.
I'm sure you can. It's this great driving here in this series pretty much does all the work for us, so it makes it pretty easy when the excitement's as great as it is here, and so there's not a whole lot we gotta do other than just talk about the great racing we see. Now, one thing about this week is we've got the points that we're getting the drop rounds coming in, and the points this week we add a second week of drop rounds to the mix, which really is going to affect the points coming into Okayama, and it really gets very cool as we add these drop rounds.
Yeah, it's definitely Chad's been on a charge late in the season, and Mark Anderson's been holding on to his points lead for quite a while now. So then you got guys like Nigel Baines and Mogul Fulcher also in the mix there, and Tobus. They're all there and all there waiting to have a crack.
Yeah, the points are definitely close. Chad Chastain and Mark Mullen only four points separating the two. Mark Anderson, as the drop weeks are taking effect, he has the biggest hit because his consistency has been so good. All his rounds have pretty high point totals because he's been here every week and he's had a pretty decent finish each week. So as it takes the lowest of your points off, he's getting one of his drop rounds took 104 points off and the other took 120 points off, so he's taken pretty big hits to his points total with the drop rounds, so that's knocked him down to about 200 points, well, 250 points or so below Marlon McMullen, and but he's still in a pretty big points battle himself with his teammate Mike Fulcher. Nigel Baines is also right there fighting for that third position with the two of them. Nigel Baines, obviously with SDC Motorsports, having a great season as well as the other two, and Tobias Zerny's right there, just 20 points from Nigel. So Tobias, Nigel, even Sanjin, I would say, is still in that battle for that third and fourth points.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, with Marlon being defending champion, I don't think he's going to leave it all out on track. And as well, he missed the first 2 weeks of the season. So yeah, his drop weeks definitely aren't taking as much of a hit as Mark's were. Like you say, his consistency at the beginning of the season was tremendous. And yeah, so him and Chad, it'll be interesting where they both start today and how they battle it out for round 11 and round 12 at Oran Park next week.
Yeah, and that's going to be a great finale to this season. Finished off with Okayama today and Oran Park next week. That's going to be such a great finish. Oran Park is just going to be a phenomenal race to finish it at. And I took a look at next week's season schedule, and it's going to be just as amazing as this week. Or this season, sorry. Next season schedule is going to be just as awesome as this season schedule. That's what I was trying to get out.
Yeah, you got it out, yeah. No, we'll look forward to finishing off Season 1 first before we get into Season 2, so we'll adjust to being in the booth and not on the track today. It's exciting either way.
Yeah, we've been talking, it's a little different having you up in the booth. Normally we're talking about you on track, and yeah, you're doing pretty good this season yourself. Find yourself in 13th in the points running, so you're doing a great job this season as well. Tonight you're going to be here in the booth with me and watching the guys racing, so that's definitely going to be a little different.
Yeah, I thought I'd come and give you a hand, considering I'm not battling that high up in the points. My season's been a little bit up and down with the consistency and just with the new team at the beginning of the year, so sort of taken a little bit away from my driving, but definitely season 2 is where my focus is at the moment. So, but yeah, I'll enjoy my time in the booth while I can before JD gets back and steals my seat.
Yeah, it's definitely definitely a tough seat to fill, that's for sure. JD is definitely good at what he does, but I expect we're still going to have a great show tonight. It is 9:15 my time. Boy, I don't even know what time it is your time. 1:15 in the afternoon?
12:15 for me.
Hi, okay. So, but that means that the servers should be coming up any time for us to be able to jump in and take a look at. So, we should be getting some video coming up any minute.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to this race. 43 laps, enduro around Okayama. It's nice and tricky. It's got a nice free-flowing first and second sector, and then a very tight technical third sector for the boys to handle today. So, and it is going to be a pit stop race with just under 3 laps of fuel being burnt per lap. So it'll be interesting with the fuel strategy in that today.
Have you done a lot of driving this week on the track? Is that the wind? It's I guess the wind's about 7 miles an hour. Has that been playing much of a role in the track this week?
Not particularly. It's not as strong as a few of the other tracks where it's affected us. But it does it does come across from the east, so it does give us a little bit of push down the back straight into the tight hairpin. So which is quite tricky because it takes you into the tight technical section, and you really need to get turn 5. You really need to get through there quite smoothly to get into the back section.
Yeah, the track is definitely a favorite. It's a favorite of mine, I guess, because I learned it so well as I was just, starting iRacing. It's one of the most raced tracks when you're first learning the road courses and getting your licenses. So it was one that I got to spend a lot of time on. So I really like it, but it's a favorite of mine to watch as far as racing goes because everybody else got to spend a lot of time on it as well. And so the racing on this track is usually very close.
Yeah, definitely. It is one the second version of the track, the short version, is used through the rookie series as people come into iRacing. So people are definitely quite familiar with it. Using the full course, most people aren't that familiar with it, but adding that full course onto it, it definitely is needed for these big brutes of gates. And can see Bo Cattell hasn't registered a qualifying time there, so he'll be one to watch coming through the field. As we know, he's always seems to carry a lot of pace.
Yeah, Bo-Katan definitely one to watch. It's going to be really a great treat for us to watch him coming through the field tonight. Not qualifying this is definitely going to be a tough track, having to start from the back, but it's definitely going to be a treat watching Bo drive through the pack tonight.
Definitely not far away from green flag here, so be interesting to see what start Marlon gets against Chad here as the 2 points contenders go at it.
Green.
We are green. Chad and Marlon both got a pretty good launch there, but Nigel Baines comes right up the middle and takes over that second place.
Yeah, Marlon lost out there to Michael Fulcher as well, but he's fighting back there for third position. Chad got a great getaway, and Nigel hot on his heels, and Marlon has been able to secure the third position.
Nigel still having a great start. Marlon is catching up to him. He's definitely going to be putting some pressure there on Nigel as we get to about the halfway point of this lap.
Yeah, definitely Marlon's going to apply the blowtorch there to the back of Nigel's car. Let's see if he handles the pressure. And the more they battle, the more it allows Chad to get away. As we know, he's got an impeccable record when he started on the pole, and he seems to just check out once he gets some clean air.
As we've seen week after week, is if Chad Chastain gets that pole position and he gets a great start like he's done here, he can really get a gap and just take off. I'm hoping that Nigel and Marlon have got something to bring to the table tonight for Chad, as this track is one that I could tell that Chad Chastain could just really take off if things go his way.
Oh, definitely. I know Nigel had a bit of a miscalculation with his fuel in yesterday's race, so I know he's made those adjusted numbers. So, you know, with the pit strategy coming into it, it's going to be interesting to see how Chad handles this race and what strategy he applies. But everyone seemed to get away with it quite cleanly.
Yeah, so far so good. Everything really seems to be going great so far. Bo-Katan has made his way up into the 7th position already, going to the inside of one of the KRT cars. That's going to put Mark Anderson another spot down, but Mark's got good position going to this turn. I think it's inevitable that Bo will get that position though.
Yeah, Mark was smart there and let him go through. It's quite tight for two V8 Supercars to be going through that section too wide.
That marks the 7th position that Bo-Katan has gained so far in the race. He's gained 7 positions so far, putting him up into the 7th. I guess he's up into the 6th position now in front of Mark Anderson. The Gaines lost this thing. Hasn't quite caught up yet as they haven't crossed this finish line, but it'll change here momentarily.
Now we've got Toba Zerni there on Mogul Fulcher, and McMullen's just made a pass into turn 1 on Nigel Baines. Great move under brakes there.
Yeah, Marlon McMullen's definitely showing that he's got some good speed tonight. He's already starting to pull away from Nigel, so Marlon might be able to gain that time back and start really putting some pressure on Chad. That would really make for some interesting racing here at Okayama, but so far everybody's having a great race. It's been a nice, clean race.
Yeah, everyone's giving each other room, and a lot of respect out on track there at the moment. They know it's a long race, so everyone's just getting into their groove and their rhythm, and and settling down. So it'll be interesting to see once the pit window opens how everyone tackles the strategy.
Carwin May and Sanjin Delalik back in the 8th and 9th position having a pretty good battle. Carwin May's really putting the pressure on Sanjin, looking to take over that 8th place. He's really been putting the pressure on there for the last lap or so. Looks like Sanjin might have found just a little bit of pace. He's starting to put just a little bit of gap between he and Carwin May.
Yeah, Sanjin looking good in the new Volvo Altitude liveries, looking good.
Yeah, 3rd week in a row, Sanjin's came with a new livery, and boy, each one's just looking better and better. So they're doing some great work over there at the Altitude Volvo livery paint shop.
Yeah, he's just holding on to the back of his pack here with Mark Anderson, and he's just holding on to the back of Bo, and Tobus and Mogul Fulcher and Nigel have formed a little 3-man chain here.
Yeah, Tobias seems to be struggling a little bit tonight back there in the 5th position. He last couple weeks he's really shown some pretty good speed and has done a really great job. Could just be the way that the pack is tonight. Maybe just because everybody's got pretty good speed here at Okayama that's keeping it back there. He might just be taking it kind of easy. We'll just have to keep an eye on Tobias, see how things go for him.
Yeah, he's certainly slowing up the pace of his teammate Marlon. Yeah, definitely he'll just be biding his time behind these boys, and we know he's got the pace in the end, so let's see when he looks to make a move.
When do you expect we'll start seeing pit stops? Around lap 20, or you think they'll be stopping in sooner than that and having a longer run on the tires?
Well, you'd think between lap 18, I think the pit window opens. So we'll be looking from there to lap 25 for a few of the boys. So I don't think you'll get too much more out of the tyres than that.
No, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking you want to try to split it up about as evenly as you could to get the most out of both sets of tires.
Yeah, track position does mean a lot around here too. So it's all depends on whether you want to look to get the undercut and come in early. If you are stuck in a bit of a train like Tobias may look to do that, be a bit more fuel conservative, or he may look to just look after his tyres and then stay out those extra couple laps and try and beat them on track.
LED Innovations guys back in 10th and 11. Good teammate battle. Yeah, I don't know if I'd say they're battling each other or they're just kind of running together, trying to just take some laps off here.
Well, I know Michael gave Justin a little bit of room earlier in the race when Justin got a little bit loose there. It's good to see a new face in the series as well with Justin C. Allen here. But yeah, the LED guys, we know they're consistent and they always bring speed to the table, so it'll be interesting to see how their strategy plays out.
Yeah, I'm definitely glad to see new faces in the series. The LED Innovations team has definitely been a prominent livery in the V8 Supercars America series, so to see a couple more of those drivers show up definitely brings a smile to my face. The more of these drivers we can get into the series, the happier it makes me.
Yeah, definitely. So we've got the LED guys, we've got the tag guys, we got the KRT guys. We are missing another Volvo Altitude driver that we normally have here this week, but yeah, there's a few names missing from the grid today.
Yeah, the other Altitude Volvo driver, he was absent last week as well. I think this is his 3rd week in a row that he hasn't been here, so hope he comes back for season 2, or maybe even for the season finale next week at Oran Park.
Yeah, Oran Park's going to be huge. I don't think participation will be down for that round, so as where this is quite a tricky track, and a lot of guys with the drop rounds, they may be happy where their points are at the moment and may have chose to sit this round out for the Americas. And but we'll have to wait and see until the points sort themselves out for next week.
Yeah, we do got 2 splits tonight, each running 14 drivers. So some of the people that we have seen in the split in the last couple weeks, with the a couple extra additional drivers from the LED Innovations teams, has probably moved some of those lower IR rating drivers to that second split. And I say lower I rating, it's probably just a matter of 10 or 20 I rating points that could move you down to that second split in a series like this.
Yeah, definitely. Just watching the battle here with Mogul Fulcher is up on Nigel Baines. He's applying a lot of pressure here at the moment, which has just allowed Marlon to stretch the gap in front of them, and he's slowly bridging the gap to Chad.
Yeah, Nigel Baines doing all he can there with Michael Fulcher, putting some serious pressure on him. It's gonna, not sure if Nigel may have got loose or something that allowed Fulcher to get right up on his bumper, or if Fulcher's just really got some great pace today. But definitely a great battle.
Yeah, those two have been going at it all season long. Whenever you come to Nigel, there's always been Michael's right there.
Yeah, that's true. We've seen a battle between these two several races. So these two definitely pretty close on pace, and definitely putting on some great racing for us.
Oh, definitely. They're two good steerers, and they've a lot of respect for each other on track and off track. And it's good to see.
Another couple that's been having some great battles in this series, Bo Cattell and Tobias Zerny. And it's looking like this battle here might heat up before too long, as Bo Cattell has caught up to Tobias Zerny, and we could start seeing a battle for that 5th position here in the next lap or so.
Yeah, definitely. Bo's punching out some good 33 laps. 133s, and yeah, he's definitely bridged the gap to make this a good 4-way battle here. So
Nigel started to pull away just a little bit from Michael Folger, but that's still not much. Just a car link or two. So Michael Folger's definitely still in the battle there.
oh, definitely. So
That gives Nigel
good drive.
Yeah, it gives Nigel enough space to at least be able to take a breath and then calm down a little bit to maybe start making the gap grow even bigger. Sometimes when you got a car right on that bumper, it kind of titches you up a little bit and can make you have a few errors here and there that can cost you some lap time. Just getting a car link or two can really allow you to focus a little bit better and increase those lap speeds and get you to pull away just a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. I'm all too familiar with having one of those kamikaze racing team cars in my mirrors, and it definitely makes you look a bit too much backwards, not forwards. But that's all what it's all about. It's all about applying the pressure, especially in a circuit like this that only has 1 or 2 major overtaking points. So you definitely got to apply the pressure to the guy in front and look to force a mistake to get the pass done.
Yeah, definitely. The more pressure that you can apply and just let them know you're back there, make them nervous, get them to make that mistake so you can get around. That's your best bet to get a pass done here.
Yeah, definitely.
But we have seen in the past that Nigel Baines is Yeah, JD's called him the Iceman several times because he's had that pressure applied to him many times throughout this season, and it's like he's just ripped his rearview mirror off. He don't even look into the thing, and he just hardly even affected by that pressure.
Yeah, definitely. No, he's cool, calm, and collected under the pressure, and he knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's running to his number, and he knows when he wants to come in, and he'll have a fair idea when the guys around him what they want to do, and which gives him a good bit of leeway on how he wants to play the game, and he got a good drive out of turn 4 there. And just opened the gap, and Michael was a bit slow, and Tobias is looking to make a pass up the inside here. Can he get it done? Michael closes the door. That's good driving by both drivers there.
Oh! Yeah, Bo Cattell got into Tobias just a little bit there. I thought he was going to go around, but Bo let off just in time, and Tobias was able to save it, but little time lost. So, good driving for those guys.
Yeah, and he just tried to take advantage of the battle in front there, Bo, and just snuck into the rear bumper, but just enough to bump him offline, not enough to turn him. So they'll get their rhythm back here and latch back onto Michael and Nigel and continue this awesome battle.
Yeah, speaking of battles, Marlon McMullen has caught up to just under a second behind Chad Chastain. I think if he continues on with this pace, he's had a lap or two down in the 132s and definitely lapping pretty good. So maybe Marlon McMullen can catch Chad here in the next couple laps, and we might see a battle for that first place. Don't forget, as we came into this race, Chad Chastain led by only 4 points. So this is definitely where the battle is at, the battle between Chad Chastain and Marlon McMullen.
Oh, definitely. And Marlon's not going to give up his V8 Supercar America's crown easily, so he's definitely got the bit between his teeth, so to speak, and he's chasing him down.
Yeah, Marlon McMullen is the reigning V8 Supercar America's champion, so he's not going to want to give up that crown very easy. As you said, he's going to fight for it tooth and nail, and he's still at that 1 second mark, so no time gained that lap, but he is still staying right there with him.
Yeah, definitely. He's looking very stable in behind the wheel. The car's not twitchy, and the car's looking very strong at the moment. On lap 9, he actually made 6/10 up on Chad, and then lost 3 back last lap. So let's see what sort of numbers they get across the line this time. Marlon with a 33.5. And Chad with a 33.8, so he's clawed 3/10 back on him again. He's closed the gap within a second, so see if Marlon can keep applying the pressure here.
If we think back to last week, I believe it was last week, Chad Chastain had a great lead going, had a little bit of a mistake there, and he was in second, went for the path to overtake, and made a little bit of contact, went off track, and had a pretty big ordeal. It cost him several places, and Marlon McMullen was able to capitalize on that mistake and get those extra points. And Chad lost just a few. He was able to finish with a pretty decent finish position. I think he finished 5th or so, but not the race-ending finish that Chad Chastain wanted to have.
No, definitely not. So, and yeah, Chad, he knows what he needs to do, and I haven't seen him make too many mistakes under pressure, so
that's got to be the first one that last week whenever that happened. So he is definitely cool under pressure.
Yeah, definitely. I know in the Phillip Island round that they did have a bit of he did get into Bo Cattell there when they were battling for the lead, and then obviously last week at Road Americas. So You know, people are applying the pressure to him, and you know, maybe he's feeling it, maybe he's not. But yeah, I've raced with Chad plenty of times, and yeah, he's as cool as Nigel under pressure. So he does have Marlon right on his tail at the moment.
Yeah, Marlon has gained up to less than half a second now. He's 0.3 seconds off the bumper, so Chad now has officially got the pressure from Marlon McMullen, who's going to the inside, and he
Ooh.
thinks better of it. No, he is
Oh,
going to
he's
the
coming
inside.
hot. He's coming hot.
Marlon McMullen gets the pass done on Chad Chastain in the hairpin, and Chad is now playing catch up.
Yeah, now Chad's got to knuckle down and just and let that slide. That was a bit ambitious, the pass there by Marlon. He come in and he went to tuck back in behind, but realised he was a little bit hot. And Chad, being aware of his surroundings, sort of let the door open for him to come through, and they both got through there cleanly.
Yeah, and that's, I think you called it. I think Marlon came in just a little hot. He was going to tuck back in, realized he was too hot, decided, well, I got no choice now, went ahead and tucked it in. Chad was aware that was happening and said, oop, I better open that door up because he's coming in hot. And went ahead and opened it up that way, you know, because, of course, second place, being in second is better than going home on the trailer. So he opened the door so that Marlon could get through cleanly there, and that's what we see in this series. We definitely see good sportsmanship, especially from Chad. As you mentioned, the accident at Phillip Island a couple weeks ago, where Chad got into Bo Cattell there as he was passing for the lead. And Chad pulled over, stopped, waited for Bo Cattell to collect and get back on the track, and so they could finish their race.
Yeah, the sportsmanship in this series is world class, and you know, it's a joy to be out on the track, but it's also a joy to be up here in the booth and watch it firsthand. And you know, I love being on track with these guys, but you know, also love sitting back and watching these guys go at it. And you know, they're at the pinnacle of what they want to do in sim racing, and you know, and this is the highest level that you want to be racing in on the iRacing service. You know, it doesn't get any better than, you know, fridges on wheels that too much power and not enough grip, and you know, it really comes down to driver control and you know, how you apply yourself to handling these big cars.
Yeah, and that's just it. With these cars, it is so much about driver and car control, and the driver has so much to do with the speed of the car. It's not where your setup makes a big deal, but just the way you drive these cars makes a huge deal. You know, the focus is more on the driver than on the speed of the car. I think that's what's made this series so popular, is that once you learn these cars, they're kind of hard to learn, but once you learn them and you get them figured out, the racing is so much more gratifying because you know that you played such a big role in your performance.
Yeah, definitely. You don't get this nose to tail sort of racing in any other road series anywhere in the world. You know, other than in oval racing, where you're running at these sort of speeds this close together. So it is quite rewarding when you do get a handle on these cars and you can get out there and take it to the best.
Going back to Nigel Baines, he's pulled quite a distance now on Tobias, who's behind him in the fourth position. Tobias obviously has got it around Michael Fulcher now for that fourth position, but Nigel is pulling away. Almost 1.5 second gap between Nigel and Tobias.
Yeah, definitely. With Tobias, Michael, and Bo all battling there behind him, they've just allowed him just eyes forward and concentrate, and he's just pumping out his consistent laps, just around the low 134 mark. Just slightly off the pace of the leaders at the moment, so with about a 5 second gap to the front too. But yeah, it has definitely allowed to open up the gap there back to Tobias and Michael and Bo.
Bo's looking a little frisky, like he's really got the pressure there on Mike Fulcher. I'd seen him dive in a little bit, looking like he might put moves on Mike. So we'll keep an eye on Bo Cattell and see if he's going to get a move made on Mike Fulcher and try to put some pressure on Tobias. As Bocatel and Tobias has spent many a laps racing each other this season.
Yeah, definitely Bo's going to look to make a move here up into the turn 5 hairpin. Now he's got the run on the inside here. See if he can control it under brakes. Nice move, very clean. Nicely done.
Fulcher definitely aware of his surroundings and knew that was coming. Let him get it in there, no problem. Yeah. Another instance of good sportsmanship. I mean, nope, he didn't try to block him or anything. He knew it was coming and knew he had better pace and went ahead and let him on through.
Yeah, definitely. It's better to live and fight another day than it is to slam the door shut on lap 16 of 43. Michael's aware it's a long race, and he's obviously just slightly overdriven the car a little bit and cooked his tyres. And we said from the beginning that we knew Bo would be exciting to watch coming through the field, as we see Nigel Baines coming in for his pit stop.
Yeah, Nigel Baines, the first one in, heading to his pit stall. So the pit stops have officially begun. Nigel obviously hoping to make up some of that time between he and the leaders by getting an earlier start on pit road.
Yeah, definitely. He'll come out with the fresh tyres and see if he can definitely close the gap. So it'll be interesting to see when Marlon and Chad look to come in.
Speaking of that, there's Chad. Looks like he might go ahead and try to move on Marlon. Nope. Marlon went to the inside and kind of blocked any access to the hairpin. But Chad is still with him there, putting serious pressure on Marlon McMullen for that lead position. So this is definitely a battle to keep an eye on.
Yeah, definitely. It'll be interesting to see when both of them come in, whether they see Nigel come in and go, righto, the window's open, let's do it, or whether they look to stay out.
Yeah, I know Marlon is a driver that he can really change his game plan up on the fly based on what other drivers are doing. I've talked to him before after races and has seen how quickly he can adjust his game plan. Now Chad, I'm not so sure. I know that he has had to change it before, but I don't know if he's as effective at it as Marlon. I assume he probably is, being at the top level of racing as he is.
Yeah, Chad's a smart steerer. He knows exactly what he needs to do, and he's not afraid to change up his race plan if he needs to. So he'll make a judgment on what Marlon does, I'd say, now that he's just settled in behind him. So he'll just manage that gap, and if Marlon wants to go in, he may look to follow him, or he may anticipate when Marlon wants to come in and come in that lap early and try and get the jump.
Bocatel's now on his outlap, as well as Michael Fulcher. Sanjin Delalic, Carwin May also on their way out. Looks like about half the field now is finished with their pit stops. Just got first through seventh left to go. Both Marlon and Chad hitting the pit lane this lap.
Yeah, so Chad's decided to follow him in, and Chad's very smooth on his pit stops. We'll see if he can get the jump off pit road. Tobias Zone, he's chosen to stay out, get himself a lead lap. There's Mark Anderson also coming in behind Chad and Marlon. It also looks like Michael Middleton and Jason Scandalara too also coming in for their pit stops. Marlon got away very quickly.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say that. Several seconds ahead, so something different there on Marlon's pit than on Chad's. So definitely 6 seconds different almost.
Yeah, that's allowed Nigel to take over. Technically, what is second place from Chad Chastain?
Yeah, that was a pretty big hit there on the time sheets for Chad Chastain. I don't know if, well, with needing that much fuel, you'd think you'd just top off the fuel and get the tires. Am I wrong? Or you think these guys are calculating the fuel down to the lap to where they might save a gallon or two and in time?
Definitely, those 6 seconds is a lot of time in the pit stall. So I'm not sure whether Chad overshot his pit box and had to back up, or whether that was all stationary time. So. But
yeah.
6 seconds is a lot.
And Mike Fulcher also into the 20s. He's still 3 seconds faster than Chad Chastain, but a 21.8 for Mike Fulcher. Chad's pit stop 24.3 seconds. Tobias Zerny in the pits now. He's 16 seconds into his pit stop.
Yeah, you see Nigel Baines with 18.4. He was the quickest for the stoppers so far.
And he was the first one to pit, so if there was going to be any issues with fuel, we would probably see it with Nigel.
Yeah, definitely. So let's see how hard he can continue pushing here, as Chad seems to have the eyes on, and he's chasing him down here. Well, Nigel loose out of turn 4.
That is a surprisingly tough turn. You come in with all that speed from the straightaway, and you got to wash that speed off and get through that turn, but still you got to keep a lot of that speed, the momentum through the turn, and it's real easy to get loose coming out of that turn, or to understeer and end up off into the grass. That's definitely probably one of the most challenging turns on the circuit.
Yeah, well, as you're trying to get the power down up the hill, you've got positive camber that turns into negative camber on the road as you come over the crest, and it's very, very easy, like you say, to either wash the back around or understeer across the road. And our final person to pit, Zach Baker, is entering pit lane now.
And that will clear the field on the pit stops, so the running order that we see here is the correct running order, as pit stops have been cleared.
And we see Bo Cattell leapfrogged Tobias Zerny through the pit stops there.
Yeah, the closest battle on the field right now is the one between Tobias Zerny and Bo Cattell. Tobias about half a second from Bo. See if the fresh tires help Tobias get a little bit of extra speed and catch Bo and put on a good race there for that 4th position.
Yeah, and the pit stop seemed to have hurt Michael Fulcher there with that longer pit stop. It's just dropped off the back of that pack.
Yeah, that's going to put him out of draft range, so that one's definitely going to hurt. With 2 pretty decent straightaways on this track, you definitely want to, being in the draft is definitely a pretty good advantage.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, to stay with your pack in front. Once you drop out of that 1 second, that 1.2 second range, you sort of lose that draft. Just with that little bit of extra toe down the straightaways, it does help you stay in touch.
Mark Anderson looking at catching up to Sanjay Dalalik. He's down to just under a second now off the bumper of Sanjay Dalalik. Sanjay having a pretty good race, finding himself up in the 7th position. Sanjin, a driver that's been a real pleasure to have in the series. He's week after week has had great performances, has proven to be a good, clean driver, and has shown great sportsmanship throughout the entire series. So good to see Sanjin up there having a pretty good race.
Yeah, definitely. He's sandwiched between the two Kamikaze Racing boys at the moment. So, yeah, definitely. I enjoy running around and steering with Sanjin. He's quite a fierce competitor and a joy to race with.
Yeah, he's definitely found some speed this season too. He's been competing pretty fiercely this season. So Sanjin definitely finding something this season. It just kind of comes from having more time in the car. It seems like all of a sudden something clicks with these guys, and just overnight it seems like they find a tremendous amount of pace.
Yeah, and that's what it all comes down to. These guys that are running around at the front, it's all about set time. And it's the only way to be fast and consistent in these things. And you get people that come along and try and have a steer of these cars and find it quite difficult. And it's just all about being patient and learning the car. And I've been running these cars for over 2 years, and I'm still learning every time I get behind the wheel. So it's a constant evolution with these cars. As we see Bo Cattell and Tobias Zoni here have got onto the back of Nigel Baines for this third position.
Yeah, Nigel's going to want to be real careful here and try to find some pace that he seems to be missing after his pit stop. His last lap was in the 133, so his pace is actually pretty good.
Yeah, I think these boys behind have just found their rhythm and have just been knuckling out good laps since their stop, and it's going to be tough for Nige here to hold them off. As we know, Bo's definitely got the pace. Those tag boys definitely in the ANZ group have definitely got the pace all season long. So it's been a tremendous drive from him coming from the back.
Yeah, Bo has definitely had a fantastic race today. Starting in the back, not qualifying, coming in for the race, and making his way all the way up to 4th position. That's just a tremendous drive, and he's, the race has still got 20 laps to go, and he's putting pressure on 3rd place, so the gains aren't done for Bo Cattell yet.
No, definitely not. And they're only, this battle is just under 10 seconds from the lead, with Marlon actually extending his gap to Chad to over 5 seconds now.
Yeah, the gap from Chad back to Nigel, only 3.9 seconds, so if Bo is able to get around Nigel, he's only 4 seconds off of Chad, and with 18 laps to go, he could definitely even catch Chad. Bo could be racing for that 2nd position by the end of this thing.
Yeah, definitely. And they're definitely still running on the time, still running on the numbers, still running mid-33s.
Yeah, Bo Cattell is definitely on fire here. He is putting some serious pressure on Nigel, who has to have at this point turned the rearview mirror up and is not even looking at that thing, because if he was looking at it, he would be a nervous wreck, because Bo Cattell is all over the bumper of that SDC Motorsports Falcon.
Oh, definitely. He'd want to have knocked that mirror off and be not looking in his rear view at the moment.
Bo going for the move up the inside, almost some contact there, and decides to go ahead and tuck back in as he got just a little bit loose coming out that turn.
Yeah, it's quite tricky to get the power down on the shallow exit out of turn 4 there. So It was a smart move to tuck back in behind and have a go again this lap. It's basically line of stern until they get back around to the first corner now. So. Although Bo is definitely making himself very big in Nigel's mirrors at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely making sure he stays in the side mirrors as well, making sure that he's making himself visible in each and every one of the mirrors on the car. So if anywhere Nigel looks, if he looks, he's seeing that tag Falcon.
Yeah, definitely. Bo's got to be careful of that with Tobias Zone. He's sitting right there waiting to pounce on any mistake.
Yeah, very true there. With Tobias being right behind Bo, yeah, Bo's definitely got to be careful of that as well. He's trying to put the pressure on Nigel, but he's getting pressure from Tobias. But Tobias really seems like he's just back there waiting. He's just waiting and watching. With these guys racing as hard as they are, just one little slip up and Tobias could end up with 2 positions.
Yeah, definitely. So Tobias is just sitting back and enjoying the show at the moment, I'd say. Here goes Bo for a move up the inside. He's deep. Not quite enough car up the inside there. And Nigel gives him room. But Nigel will have position here for turn 6. That's good driving, boys.
Yeah, side by side.
Bo around the outside of 7. Whoa! Oh, we got contact. And Tobias is looking to take advantage of that. And Bo's on the outside on the dirty stuff.
Yeah, Bo was able to recollect it and make sure and get back in front of Tobias there, and he'll get back in line and try again next lap as Nigel got just a little bit loose. Coming out of, well, let's see what turn that was. That would have been turn 7.
Yeah, out of 7. Yeah, Bo's got to be careful having 2 international drivers around him, just with a little bit of net code there. Just when you've got international drivers, around you, just got to be, acutely aware of that. That there is a slight bit of lag delay. For all the tech heads out there, they'll understand what that means. And so when you do get close and there can be contact that isn't necessarily there. So, but no, they got through there quite well, and they're all on track and still line of stern. So,
yeah, I didn't even think about that. That's a very good point, Marty. That Bo is right in the middle of an international sandwich with Nigel Baines being in North America and Tobias Zerny being in Germany. The net code difference between the two, the ping difference, is pretty significant between both of those cars. So,
here goes Bo, heavy under brakes, slight lock up. Is he going to steal the position from Nigel? Nigel holds it. Back up into turn 10. And Nigel holds position.
Definitely a great race here between these two. Bo working really hard to try to get this move made on Nigel, but Nigel working real hard to keep it as well.
Oh, definitely. He's not giving him an inch of extra space that he needs. Bo's going to have to be real precise and when he wants to make a move now. He knows Nigel's not just going to give it to him.
Yeah, this is a race for the podium position. Nigel's not just going to pull over and say, well, here you go. And Nigel is definitely going to race you for that podium position. And I don't think Bo Cattell minds. Bo definitely enjoys a good race. So I imagine he's probably got a big smile on his face right now. Having a lot of fun. Because when you're a race car driver, there's nothing more you love than a good hard-fought battle.
Is it weird that I've got a big smile on my face watching this battle, watching my teammate defend these two talented drivers off?
Yeah, no, it's good. It's great. I'm ear to ear myself with a great big old smile, because Man, I just love watching good races, and this is definitely a great race. Matter of fact, I better force myself to look around the field real quick and check on everybody else. I just know that the minute I do, Bo's going to shoot the inside, and I'm going to miss it.
Yeah, well, I'm now checking on Marlon. Marlon's opened his gap up. Well, managing the gap around 5 seconds there back to Chad. So Marlon's driving a great race today. He didn't have a great start and dropped back to third, but then fought his way up and then closed the gap back to Chad and got to him before the pit stop window and then had that tremendous pit stop which just opened up this gap, and he's just out front managing the gap at the moment. So.
Yeah, the next closest battle on the track is between Sanjay Dalalik in the 7th position and Mark Anderson trying to catch up to Sanjay for that 7th position. Marquez found himself within 0.3 seconds, so Mark is definitely working on that back bumper of Sanjay.
Bo just got his move done down into turn 5 hairpin.
Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, going into turn 7, Bo has got the position done. Tobias is right there. Thought he might look for it. He changes his mind, gets back in behind Nigel.
It'll be interesting to see now if Bo can break away and look to close that gap to Chad. That is out to 7 seconds now, so it is going to be difficult for him. But yeah, Bo's definitely got the pace.
Race recall replay showing this pass here Bo Cattell made on Nigel Baines as we were away on camera watching a different battle at the time. Yeah, just nice and easy. Great pass there by Bo Cattell. Just he found the right place and just got her done nice and smooth.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Nigel had enough of the heavy defence and let him have it that time, but he knew he wasn't going away, so no, well done, Bo, and yeah, no, it was a great move.
Yeah, Nigel still not got no clean air by any means. He's got Tobias Zerny right on his bumper, applying the same kind of pressure. So no rest for Nigel as he's still in defense of his now 4th place position.
Yeah, Bo's just slightly broken away from that pack, and Tobias is now applying the pressure to Nigel, so interesting to see how that battle continues.
Yeah, Bo over a 2nd gap already to Nigel Baines, so yeah, Bo's definitely got the speed, so we'll see. He's got between he and Chad 7 seconds between he and Chad with only 12 laps to go, so that's definitely going to be a tough one, but you know, it's Okayama. Anything can happen.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And behind them, we got Mogul Fulcher, he's just running his race for 6th position. Not much pressure coming from behind with Sanjin and Mark Anderson, and Carwin May not too far off the back of that pack for 7, 8, and 9.
Yeah, check in on Carwin May. Carwin May is about a 2.5 seconds behind Mark Anderson there in the 8th place. So Carwin having a great race up in the top 10, but just far enough away that it's going to probably struggle to catch the next position up ahead. Michael Middleton in the position back behind. He finds himself 18 seconds off of the 9th place Carwin May. So Michael Middleton is in the top 10, but struggling to keep pace with the next position up. So definitely, I don't know what happened. Something happened that cost him those 10 seconds because his pace is pretty good. He just it seems like he lost 18 seconds somewhere.
Yeah, and then you got Zach Baker and P11 in beyond that. You know, he's another 8 seconds behind that, with and then Jason Scandalara, another 6 seconds behind that, with Graham Bones piling, battling it out there for 12th place.
Yeah, Graham in a new livery this week. Another beautiful altitude Volvo livery. Graham has got himself in the blue livery. Appreciate the guys at HPR for doing that, because it definitely was tough to tell the difference between the altitude cars. So now that they've got different colors, that makes it sweet for us to be able to tell who's who.
Yeah, I must say they look very nice and clean looking liveries too.
Yeah, definitely. They've done an excellent job. Checking back up at the front with Tobias Zerny, Nigel Baines battle. Nigel Baines has still managed to hold off that for that number 4 position, with Tobias still within half a second off his bumper. So Tobias probably, just continuing to put the pressure on, hoping for a mistake out of Nigel, but those are few and far between.
And they haven't really let Bo Gattel go yet either. They've kept it within that 1 second range, and he hasn't quite been able to check out on these 2 guys yet, whether he used up a lot of his gear getting past Nigel or not. But he hasn't really been able to make an impression to get up to Chad yet.
Yeah, they find themselves right at that 1.2 second mark behind him, and they're just barely in the slipstream. It won't be long till they lose that slipstream, and then we'll probably see Bo start checking out.
With 10 to go. Bo's got 7 seconds to try and catch up to Chad and look to challenge for that 2nd place, but either way it's been a tremendous drive by Bo coming from the back of the field to be holding onto this podium spot right now.
Yeah, fantastic drive by Bo coming from the back of the field up into the 2nd position, and he has made gains on Chad. He's gained about a second since he's taken that spot from Nigel Baines. He's gained about a second on Chad, but I just don't think it's going to be enough. I said into the 2nd spot, and I meant to say 3rd, as he's trying to get that 2nd spot.
Yeah, definitely. I'd say Chad's just he's given up on chasing down Marlon at the moment, so Marlon's just been driving tremendously out front and just hitting all his marks and just not giving Chad an inch to get back to him. So that gap's blown out to about 6 seconds now. So yeah, so Bo's definitely got his work cut out to him. I think Chad's still got a bit there, and I just think Michael Fulcher get very loose in the background behind this 3-way battle for 3rd place.
Yeah, lucky for Mike Fulcher that his teammate Mark Anderson is still quite a ways off pace. Getting a little bit of getting loose probably isn't going to cost him enough time to worry about. Be able to get recollected and keep on with his races. He's kind of just out there driving alone at the minute, as he ended up out of the slipstream of the Nigel Baines Tobias Zerny battle, and they was able to just kind of pull away from him. So he's just ticking down the laps, trying to get that 6th place finish, which is not bad.
Yeah, just gone back to this battle for 7th, 8th and 9th, and Sanjin, Carwin and Mark Anderson here are going at it tooth and nail, door to door.
Oh yeah, Carwin to the inside of Sanjin, looking to take over that 7th position. Not going to get it, as Sanjin's got the inside. He does get
Carwin, he does get it.
Yeah, great move by the tag pest management Falcon. Getting the move done there for the 7th place position. Now he's got Mark Anderson up in front of him that he'll have to work on. He's got 9 laps to do it, so
Yeah, definitely. Carlin's been driving an awesome race to get back onto the back of this pack here.
Yeah, a great three-way battle here for the 7th position. These guys really working hard, and you know it's a Sanjin a little loose coming through that turn, slides pretty wide, but man, you know it's a great series whenever you can have such a great battle for 7th place and have such a hard-fought battle and end up looking down and saying that that hard-fought battle was for 7th place. That's a great group of guys.
Yeah, definitely. I just went back and had a look because Sanjin was leading this pack back on lap 33. He just made a mistake coming out of the last turn and went wide and allowed these two guys through.
Yeah, I've seen his. It seems like he's pretty loose here in these latter laps of the race. He's probably burnt through his tires. I'm assuming because there was pretty, you know, lacks the grip pretty significantly. So I'm thinking he's got his tires pretty hot and he's really struggling with grip.
Yeah, well, hopefully you can find some sort of roll bar adjustment or something to get a bit of feel back underneath the rear of that car because it is looking a little squirmy at the moment. So, and I'm sure he'll fight all the way to the end, as Sanjin always does. So he's not one to give up lightly. But he is allowing these two to just get away from him slightly.
See him cranking on that wheel as he's getting through these turns. He is really fighting that car to get it around this track. He's sawing on that thing like crazy. So Sanjin definitely fighting a setup that's went away from him in the latter laps of this race.
Yeah, definitely. He's having to put a lot of wheel work into it to keep it pointing in a straight line. As much fun as they are to drift these things, that it doesn't make you go fast.
Yeah, taking a look up at Carwin May, just still looking quite smooth. He's just making it look nice and easy there.
Oh, Bocatel's just gone around. He's just gone around coming out of Hobbs at turn 9.
Yeah, bad luck for Bo. Let's get a race recall replay and see exactly what happened to Bocatel.
Yeah, it's definitely allowed Nigel and Tovers to take over that podium position. I see Michael Fulcher's also got through. Got a bit too much down on the power there, and as soon as you touch the grass and turn it around.
Yeah, he just didn't get it turned in quick enough into the hairpin there. I guess you'd call that a hairpin. It's not quite a hairpin, but he just didn't quite get turned in soon enough, and that took him wide into the turn, got into the grass, and it just took him the rest of the way off. And once he was in the grass, it just went the rest of the way around on him. Tough break for Bocatel, as he's had such a fantastic drive.
Yeah, see, he's gone out left to get the wide entry in, and just clipped the grass, and then tried to hug it around the outside. And as soon as he tried to apply any sort of throttle, it turned him around. So it's unfortunate for Bo. It's a tremendous race up until that point.
Yeah, that's just it. He didn't go too heavy into the turn. It was whenever he went wide to get the line into the apex that he just barely touched the grass, and as he did, it kind of pulled him straight a little bit, and he wasn't able to get it back on the track to make the turn, and it took him the rest of the way off into the grass. And man, tough break.
Yeah, tough for Bo, but yeah, fortunate for my SDC Motorsports teammate Nigel Baines and Dago Falcon of Toba Zerny. Tobias Zerny.
Yeah, what's bad fortune for one is great fortune for others, and Nigel Baines finds himself back in that podium position, and Tobias Zerny finds himself one spot closer to the podium position with 6 laps to go. So we should see an intense battle here for that
Tobias
final.
looking to make a move down into the hairpin. And gets it done.
Oh, Nigel Baines around.
Loose.
He didn't get all the way around. He recollected
looks
it.
like he could recover.
Yeah, great recovery by Nigel Baines. That could have easily been even more disastrous. Devastational.
Devastational, as JD would put it, yes. I forgot to do my list of JD words for today's broadcast. Sorry, JD. I know you're out there listening.
I hope he is. I hope JD looked down at his watch and said, oh, you know what? It's broadcast time. I'll listen to the guys. But I don't think so. He went out of town to a concert tonight, so I know he's probably enjoying the heck out of the concert that he's at.
I'm sure he'll come home and watch the replay of the broadcast, and then I'll be getting text messages all night saying what I did wrong.
Oh, no. As we know just from the broadcasts, there's hardly anything anyone can do wrong in JD's eyes. He is very optimistic.
Oh, he's good. It's sad he's not here today, but I'm glad I can fill in and enjoy my time up here in the box with Dick Kane. So.
Well, I'm enjoying my time here too. It went very well, so thank you for joining me tonight. It's definitely been a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, a little strange not being down on track, but as I just see Sanjin has received a throughful for his connection. So that's sad to see for Sanjin.
Yeah, maybe he's been having a little bit of connection issues throughout the night, causing him maybe a little bit of lag for him that could have been causing some of his issues on track. So tough break for Sanjin, as he was having a pretty good race there before all that started. Carwin May still finds himself in a heck of a battle with Mark Anderson for that 7th spot. I thought he had that 7th place position earlier. Mark must have found his way around, but if so, Carwin is not letting him get by without a fight. Carwin is right on the bumper, putting some serious pressure on Mark Anderson with 4 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely. Carwin's having a tremendous race. He's just been pacing himself all race, and he's just capitalising on mistakes in front, and definitely showing the pace here at the end of the race.
Yeah, with 4 laps to go, reminds me of the pit stop of Nigel Baines earlier. About 3 or 4 seconds quicker pace than everyone else, which means he probably shorted it on fuel. So he'll definitely be one to watch in these next 4 laps to see if he's got enough fuel to get to the end.
Oh, and he's just been able to make a move up the inside at the Atwood curve, turn 4. Let's see if he can hold his position down to the turn 5 hairpin. They both go in hot. Brilliant move. Nice job. Excellent move there by Carwin on Mark to secure that 7th place.
Take a look at that pass again between Carwin May going up on the inside of Mark Anderson to take over that 7th place position. Yeah, just a great pass, just textbook right down the inside, and just a great pass. Patson's been more of a challenge here at Okayama than I thought it was going to be. you see all these slower paced turns on at Okayama, and you think that those would be great passing opportunities, but a lot of these slower turns like Piper and Redmond and Hobbs, they end up being kind of a challenging turns that end up not being the greatest for passing opportunities.
No, not for these big cars, because you're dancing on the throttle and the brake so much around these slow corners. It's too high a risk, you could say, and it's just very hard to get the momentum to get the pass done unless the guy in front makes that mistake. So really, you've got down into the outward curves of turn 4, the hairpin at turn 5, and turn 1. Your main overtaking places around here, as where coming through Piper, Redmonds, and Hobbs. It's just so tricky to get the car up inside safely. That it's very much line astern through that section of the track. And we should be getting white flag next time by.
Yeah, just a few more turns here till Marlon McMullen collects the white flag and starts his final lap here at Okayama. Week 11 in the series. Just one more week left. Next week we head to Warren Park for the season finale.
And that is its challenge in itself, Oran Park. I do believe we're there for 50 or 60 laps around there, so it'll be another endurance style race, and I'm definitely looking forward to it as a driver.
Oh, I'm definitely looking forward to watching that race. It's going to be exciting. The last race of the season. The points is going to be so close between Marlon and Chad as it's looking like they're going to finish 1-2 again tonight, and it looks like Marlon's going to gain a few of those points that he was behind. Maybe even might gain just enough to maybe take over that lead. Oh, Marlon gets sideways on his final lap. He's only got 9 seconds to play with, so that's going to get Chad Chastain quite a bit closer, although probably not close enough. It definitely was not great.
I think that's Marlon trying to show off. Do that on your warm down lap, Marlon.
Yeah, make sure you get across the line first.
Could have been embarrassing for him.
He did only lose about 1.5 seconds, so that wasn't too bad at all.
It's been a tremendous race from Marlon. He's from his poor start, he had to battle his way back up to chase Jack down, and once he got there, he was able to take over the lead, and then had that tremendous pit stop, which gave him the gap that he needed, and he's been able to manage that gap all the way to the end. A little bit of showboating there to finish off.
Yeah, well, be careful, Marlon. You would hate to lose the race to some showboating. Ah, he's got it. Great win for Marlon McMullen. Great job. That might just put him into the points lead going into the finale.
And well done, Chad Chastain. Solid second place. And Tobias Zerny coming home with the final podium spot. That's 2 Dayco Powerbond Falcons on the podium.
Yeah, great job to the Dayco guys. That's definitely a great finish. Nigel Baines makes his way across in 4th place after one heck of a hard-fought night for Nigel. He's definitely 4th place is a great finish for such a difficult night he had with the battles. He had pressure all night long from those guys.
Oh, definitely. So, and Mulga Fulcher coming home in 5th place. Solid outing for him. I'm sure he'll be happy with that. And unfortunate for Bo Gattel bringing home 6th place after his unfortunate spin while on the final podium spot.
Yeah, I'm sure Bo was pretty disappointed about that, but what a great drive he had. He got all the way up into third place from the very back, the field. He really had a great drive, so unfortunate that he had that little spin. That grass can be such a booger. Get off in there just a little bit and catastrophe. So, but otherwise, great drive for Bo. That is a shame that happens, but well, like we said, for every driver that has that bad moment, it opens up the door for a couple drivers to have a good moment.
Yeah, definitely. We'll do a rundown on the final standings. In first place, Marlon J. McMullen. In second place, Chad Chastain. In third place, Tobias Zerny. Fourth place, Nigel Baines. Fifth place, Michael Fulcher. Sixth place, Bo Cattell. In seventh, Carwin May. In eighth, Mark Anderson. In ninth, Michael Middleton. In 10th, Zach Baker. In 11th, Jason Scandalara. In 12th, Graham Bones Pylon. In 13th, Justin C. Allen. And unfortunately, a connection issue for Sanjin Dalek. Comes home in 14th, 6 laps down.
Well, Marty, that's a great race. 43 laps, and to have only one driver not finish the race, that's a fantastic drive for everybody on the field, actually.
Yeah, definitely. If it wasn't for Sanjin's connection problem, would have the whole field would have still been on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's a fantastic drive for everybody. There were several just fantastic races that we got to witness throughout the night. Even for 7th, 8th, ninth places, those guys were racing as if that was for first position. I mean, it was that great of racing. So, as we've seen, each and every week in this series, the racing is just spectacular. The sportsmanship is phenomenal, and this series has proven to be quite devastational.
Well said.
JD's not here. I got to throw in some of his words to JD-fy the broadcast.
He has been sorely missed, but no, it's been a pleasure being up here in the booth, and it's been a great race to call. Like you say, there was tremendous battles all the way through the field, and we did focus on some of the main ones, but yeah, definitely looking with Graham and Jason and that, they had a tremendous battle and still only finished the second apart there, back in the field, and but you had Carwin, Mark, and Sanjin battling for that back half of the top 10 all race long. So no, it was tremendous racing throughout the field.
Yeah, it really was. It was a fantastic effort by each and every person on the field tonight. A couple drivers had incidents of accident or a little incident that cost him some positions. There's a couple of those, like the Bo Cattell incident, but otherwise he had such a great drive. So it's hard to look at that and say that he had a bad night, because he had a fantastic night, other than that little incident that cost him a few positions.
Yeah, definitely. He was the racer's racer for the night, that's for sure. Coming from the back of the field is never easy. He did have a tremendous first lap where he made up 7 spots in one lap. But then, yeah, definitely had to buy his time to get past Nigel and Tobias, and eventually got it done. But then, yes, unfortunately, he did cost himself a few positions with a late mistake in the race. So I'm sure he'll be ruining himself quite a bit.
Well, as the drivers make their way in, let's see if we can get interview here with Marlon McMullen, the race winner. Marlon, are you there?
I sure am, guys. How are we?
Oh, fantastic! What a great run you had there. It started off a little tough for you, but you was able to get your way through the field and get to that first position, and from there you just took off.
Yeah, most definitely. It wasn't the. I was practicing my starts. I was all ready to go in the pit lane because I knew I had a good slot next to Chad on the grid, and having the inside lines always preferred. It's coming up to a right-hand corner, and unfortunately I just made a mess of it and dropped a couple of spots, and I was lucky to fend off. I think it was Michael in the end and not drop another one, and yeah, just from there on, just try to claw my way back into the back of Nigel, and had a shot at Nigel, and I got it done. So I was pretty happy with that one, and then. Pretty much set off after Chad, and I don't know, usually his pit stops aren't usually the flashes, so I tried to pounce on the opportunity today, and yeah, I was able to pounce on it and drop out a 5-second gap in the end and keep on pushing.
Yeah, with that pit stop, Marlon, you had the second fastest pit stop of the race. We noticed Chad had quite a late pit stop, but that sort of gave you the gap you needed to just head down, bum up out front, and just punch out some clean laps.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's a long race. I mean, it was an hour and 10 minutes, so you can understand a lot of us are pretty tired, so mistakes are creeping in. So I knew at the end of the day, it's one of those races where you had the luxury of playing it up with the strategy a bit. And today I got the strategy right. I felt like, and whacking in the amount of fuel that I needed to do, and I nearly made a mess of it coming into the pit lane entry, and Chad made a couple of seconds. So I'm happy to get out of pit lane and make a bit of time. But from there on, it was head down, bums up, pretty much.
Well, going into the final week of the season, you came into the race just 4 points off of the point leader at that point, Chad Chastain. So, with this wins, definitely got to move you up there and get you into that top position going into the final race of the season. So next week we go to Warren Park. All right, how do you look for Warren Park?
Yeah, it's one of those tracks which I've always hated in the past, but it's one that it seems to suit me quite a lot. It seemed to be pretty quick there over the last few seasons. So, we used the form that we had today, and I feel like I'm in the best, driving position I've ever been in. I put in a really good race, so hopefully I can continue that form. And it's another long race next week, so yeah, just pretty much do it all again for another hour.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be another long race next week. So, yeah, God, I can't wait till next week now. The points is just going to be within a couple points going into the finale. The finale at Warren Park, such a great track to finish the season on. Another endurance type race. All right, well, congratulations on your win, Marlon. And anybody you want to thank before you head out?
Yeah, I mean, thank you for obviously Powerbond Racing Team again, obviously Daco, and I had a really good battle with Chad and Nigel, so thank them for the racing respect. I know that pass and Chad was a little bit iffy, but I had a look at it, and it was a bit unexpected in the end, but I got it done quite clean, so I'm happy he gave me a bit of room for that.
Yeah, he definitely gave you the room there, so you come in a little bit hot and went to tuck in behind, and then went, oh, I'm still going a bit fast here. I better shoot back up the inside. So no, but you got it done, and yeah, Chad definitely gave you the room there. So, but well done on tonight's race, Marlon. Well done.
Yes, thank you guys.
Race winner, and more than likely coming into this one points leader going into the final season. That is Marlon McMullen. Now let's get a word with second place, Chad Chastain. Finished second place, had a great race. It looked like probably what cost you the biggest amount of time was probably your pit stop, Chad. What happened in the pits that cost you the extra seconds?
I don't know. Maybe I miscalculated my fuel. I don't think I did, but I came out 6 seconds behind and was just amazed. I thought for sure that maybe Marlon would be short on fuel, but he wasn't. So, I'd say just a little bit of lack of prep time this week has really cost me, and it shows. And not to take anything away from Marlon, he's showing the form of a champion here as we get down to the wire.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorry, Marty, go ahead.
Yeah, no, definitely, Chad. Once he had a bit of a sloppy start, you could say, but once he got to the back of you and you showed tremendous sportsmanship once again with his pass, being quite aware of your surroundings, you're able to manage that gap behind him. But then after the pit stops, you come out that 6 seconds behind him, but you're unable to close that gap. Was there a reason for that?
Marty, like I said, more than anything, just a lack of preparation time this week and getting comfortable with the setup. Once it was 7 or 8 laps in, and it really started to push. My 1 lap pace is pretty decent, but it showed. 7, 8 laps into the race, and then Marlon really started chewing into me. And as far as the pass, yeah, last week was still in the forefront of my mind, and I didn't want to do anything that would really muck up my chances to fight another day. No, it just Marlon had great pace. It seemed that we were pretty much on with each other as far as pace goes. And yeah, once I got chewed up in the pits, and I wish I had an explanation, but all season long I've had these weeks where I've had really really long 4 pit stops.
Yeah, definitely. It's where it cost you today, but you're still pretty close in the point standings. We do believe Marlon will take over the points lead going into Oran Park. How are you looking forward to next week?
I am. I'll guarantee you I'll be definitely putting in the laps for that race. I like that track. I think it suits me, and it really is. It's going to be winner take all, and that's exciting. And I urge everybody to tune in for that one. It's going to be a barn burner.
Yeah, most certainly. With the points are as going into Oran Park, the points are just going to be within a point or two, probably. Less than 10 for sure going into Oran Park, the final race of the season. It's going to be a fantastic race, a fantastic finale to the season. So it's definitely going to be exciting. So hope you get lots of practice in. I'm pretty sure Marlon's going to be practicing like crazy. So I'm going to be there, just excited as all get out. It's going to be fantastic. Anybody you want to thank?
I've had some help the last few weeks from the guys at SDC Motorsports, helping me with kind of giving me feedback on my sets and everything. I'll say that it's been a real great run. Can-Am Motorsports has pretty much been there since the beginning of the V8 Supercars, America's series, and I'm really really looking forward to having a chance to bring that title back to the team. No, I can't wait for next week, man. I'll guarantee you, Kane, Marty, everybody's gonna bring their A game.
Yeah, definitely. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring my A game back to the track, and JD will be back in the booth and bring his enthusiastic race calling to the finale. So, because I think everyone is looking forward to it.
Yeah, I know JD is as well. He mentioned before he went out of town this week that he's very thankful he'll be back for the finale at Oran Park, and it's definitely going to make a great broadcast. Getting his enthusiasticness back in the booth is definitely going to be a big benefit to the finale.
Yeah, and really, yeah, I do want to thank, through all of this, you guys for broadcasting, but, V8's Online that stepped up and has really brought another dimension to this series. Those guys are great.
Yeah, it really has been fantastic having V8's Online on board for this. They've been a super help. The resources that they've made available to the broadcast has been great, and so can't thank V8's Online enough. Direct Collect Services, V8's Supercar fan group for their support. This whole thing is just really came together very sweet, so can't thank those guys enough. Next week, the finale, you're looking at bringing the championship back to the Americas, so it's definitely something to watch. Next week's just going to be fantastic. I don't think I can say that enough, everybody. To make sure you tune in next week, because it's going to be phenomenal. There's a JD word.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thank you, Chad, and we will see you next week.
Yeah, well done again, mate.
Thanks.
Sorry for the delay, guys. I'm used to JD moving the interviews around while I do the director stuff, but I'm doing it today, so it takes me just a little bit longer. Now we're going to bring in Tobias Zerny for a chat. Tobias Zerny, a great race tonight. You have put some serious pressure on Nigel and others for a great race. It's getting kind of late where you're at, so make sure and get you in here just as quick as possible so you can get back to sleep. Great race, though. Fantastic.
Yeah, hello guys, thank you. Although I don't know if it's worth getting back to the bed now. It's 6:15 in the morning, so anyway, enjoyed the race. Also didn't have the feeling that it was too long, as it really it got very interesting towards the end. I think around 10 laps to go, I was sitting there behind Bo and Nigel. I was really thinking like, I need to get past, but without any dodgy moves and without making contact, without hitting my damaging my car. So I was quite happy that Bo made the mistake, and then I kind of knew that basically Nigel couldn't run away because of his tires, and just needed to get it done. And I was pretty happy when it was more like an accident when I braked a bit too late and went to the inside and braked the perfect pass, I would say.
Yeah, definitely, Tobias. You showed a lot of patience following Bo and Nigel for majority of that race while they were battling. You know, we were just waiting for you to pounce on their mistakes, which you were able to capitalise on. So and put two Powerbond cars on the podium. So you must be happy for your teammate as well, taking home first position.
Definitely, he deserved it. He was so fast, and I'm just a bit sad that due to my starting position and the traffic I got, and maybe the strategy wasn't that good. I mean, I had better tires in the end, but Nigel was around a second ahead when he pitted, and I could have beaten Chad with a better strategy and of course with a better starting position.
Well, podium finish for you. That's pretty darn good. That's definitely going to help in the points. Is you are right in the middle of a pretty serious battle for that third or fourth place in the points. So that's hitting that podium's definitely going to help out with that.
Yeah, pretty sure. Except for the point that I do not have any recovery drop rounds, as the first 4 rounds were 0, and I have to take what I get. So.
Ah, that is true. Yep, that's true. Since you missed 4 races, you don't got any other points coming off. So, where you're at is where you're at. But next week we got the finale going to Oran Park, so that's where everything will wash out. How are you looking for Oran Park?
Can be a pretty difficult track to pass. I just hope that I get a better starting position, and I guess Marlon is pretty good there, so I try to stick with him, and maybe we get 1-2. I don't know if we had a 1-2 so far. Yeah, at Montreal we had one. So that would be pretty good. I'm not exactly sure. I can't. I'm not exactly sure if I can attend the race, as it's the Easter weekend. But I will do my best, and yeah. So let's see how it goes.
No, we definitely hope to have you there, Tobias. So we hope you can make it, and yeah, we look forward to seeing you at Oran Park.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you for broadcasting. Because it was a very entertaining race to watch, and I can't wait for the upload.
It was a great race. Thank you guys for putting on such a fantastic race each and every week for us. Without you guys being the stellar quality of drivers that you are, this series wouldn't be near as exceptional to watch. But you guys make this thing such a blast to broadcast and such a blast to go back and watch later. So, thanks to you guys for being as great as you are. Is there anybody you want to thank for the race tonight?
Yeah, I would say Marlon for getting me motivated every night, every Friday evening, Saturday morning, night. Yeah, and of course our sponsor Staco Powerbond. A fantastic season so far, incredible, and I guess they will be also very happy to see us here in the America's Championship. Yeah,
fantastic. So, Tobias Zerny, everybody. making his way up into the podium for a third place position. Tobias had mentioned a bad starting position tonight. I don't think anybody had as bad of a starting position tonight as Bo Cattell. But Bo, you had a bad starting position tonight, but made your way up for a fantastic race. You made your way all the way up into that third position. You really did have a fantastic race tonight.
Yeah, it was good fun. I thought I'd spice it up and start from the back, given I'm not really competing for the championship and didn't really want to get in the way. So had the dream race up until I spun. But yeah, first lap I think I got nearly half the field in one lap, so it just went my way. But yeah, kicking myself over that spin, that's what happens.
Yeah, definitely gaining 7 positions on the first lap and getting all the way up into third position with a tremendous battle with Nigel and Tobias. You definitely got my drivers' vote for this race. But tell us what happened there when you had your spin.
I was just sort of trying to just maintain the gap. I knew 2 behind me were having a battle, and I suppose I just wasn't concentrating as much as I should have been, and dropped 2 wheels on the grass just on turn in, and yeah, it just went straight. And then I was trying to sort of putt around 2 wheels on the grass, 2 on the asphalt, and yeah, it just spun. I couldn't get it back on, and yeah, just dropped too far to even try and get any positions back, so it was a bit of a bugger.
Well, you made a safe recovery from there anyway. I thought you might have been able to catch back up to Michael Fulcher there and regain 5th position, but he just was sort of able to maintain that gap to you. But all in all, a pretty solid outing.
Yeah, definitely. It's always hard when you spin it on the grass. It takes a couple of laps for the tyres to come back, and given how late it was in the race and lack of fuel, it was just undrivable at the end. I was just drifting, and it was Ren's Brokeman's setup, so they are notorious for being slippery in the back anyway. So it was no, got to thank him. It was a really, really, really good setup. It just doesn't like grass. Not many do.
No, you definitely had the pace. We thought if you could have jumped Nigel a little bit earlier, you might have had something for Chad. But a tremendous battle with Nigel there. A little bit of argy-bargy and too wide where you shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no, it was really good. It was a good kind of bumping. Like I never considered getting on the mic or anything. It was awesome fun. Like a couple of times I was backing it in and he left me room, and yeah, it was really, really, really good racing. It's credit to him.
Oh, it was exciting to watch.
Yeah, I made the comment in the race that you probably had a big smile ear to ear, because as race car drivers, we really enjoy those good battles like that. They're really hard fought battles, and I just seemed like I could feel even just through the broadcast that you were really having a great time with those battles.
Yeah, absolutely. It was one of those races where I knew I had to get through the back markers as quick as I could, so that I could, I suppose, have a good race and not lose the guys in front. And I managed to do it, and it was, yeah, like the race flew, and it was a long race, so it was really good fun, and that's because we have such good quality drivers in this series that really care about each other, so it's good.
Yeah, this series has just really shown in that department. The sportsmanship has been through the roof. You know, it's been great to watch the sportsmanship each and every week. There's a driver that's showing tremendous sportsmanship, and if not several drivers, and yeah, every driver has made the comment throughout the season how great the sportsmanship is in the series. So that will definitely take a series very far whenever the drivers actually care about one another and the damage they can cause and do their race and things like that. So it definitely makes for great racing.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking forward to the final round. I would start from the back, but I don't think I'll pass anyone at Oran Park if I start at the back, so I might have to just start on pole and run off.
That is one way to do it. That's it's going to be a heck of a battle for that top spot in the championship, and if you get out there in the front, it's definitely going to make that battle that much more challenging.
Yeah, definitely. Just got to make sure I don't get involved in the championship hunt. Couldn't forgive myself if I took Marlon or Chad out, so I'll have to be pretty careful of that.
Yeah, that's just that statement there is just one thing that makes this series so fantastic. People actually care about the other drivers and the hunt that they're in for the points. It's just fantastic. Bogatel, thank you for coming in for an interview. What a fantastic race. Great job coming from the back of the field. Marty, anything else?
No, thanks for putting on a good show, Bo, and look forward to seeing you on track next week.
No worries. Thanks, guys. Congratulations on another great broadcast.
Thank you, sir. We got one more to do this season. Next week, Oran Park. It's gonna be fantastic.
Yeah, good luck.
Bogatel, everybody. Driver of the Tag Pest Management of Ford Falcon. Let's bring in Michael Fulcher.
G'day, Mogul. How are we?
Yeah, g'day, Marty. Okay.
Hey, Michael. How you doing tonight? Great race.
Thanks, mate. Thanks. I'll tell you what, it's an epic journey around there. Long race.
You were with the guys early on in the race with Tobus and Nigel and Bo, but after the pit stops, you seem to just be running your own race back there in 6th position.
Yeah, it's the fuel consumption, and I use too fuel, and the trick is, how do I do a faster lap and use less fuel? That seems impossible.
Yeah, there are some drivers that get that fuel consumption and they're so good at it. John Emerson comes to mind. He's just extremely good at fuel saving. And then there's other drivers that really struggle with it, me being one of them. It's just one of those things that it seems like once you get it figured out, it works really well for you, but some drivers, it's just really tough to get the hang of it. So this is one of your first seasons here, well, at least in the Americas series. So I imagine the more experience you get in the car, in which you're doing phenomenal on the driving part, the little things like the fuel consumption and things like that will make their way in, and probably just one race it'll all click, and you'll get that fuel consumption figured out, and you'll be like, man, I can't believe this didn't all work out before.
Yeah, I hope you're right, and I think it will come to me. I know what to do. I've had a fuel saving before because I was going to run out of fuel, and it surprised me that my lap times were still there. So I actually know what to do, but when you're chasing someone who's carrot dangling in front of you a second up the road, all that goes out the window, and you just want to keep your foot into it.
Yeah, you got lead foot problems like I do.
Yeah, I do. I think it was a really good battle early on, like until it's 4 of us all going for it, and I think Nigel came in 1 lap before me, and he was 1.5, maybe 2 seconds in front at the time. I pitted the next lap, and he was 9 seconds up the track. That's how much extra fuel I had to take. From there, I just was kicking myself, and slowly, very slowly closing that gap up. But I was overdriving, and I burnt my tyres up by the time I actually got onto the back of Nige, due to a mistake up there. I was racing hard. I just had nothing left to put a move on, and 2 corners over the line, I ran out of fuel.
Wow. See, you just answered an important question that I had about your pit stops. Chad Chastain also had a lengthy pit stop, and I wondered if you guys are topping off on fuel and topping off on tires. I just figured you guys' pit stop should be a little bit closer, but you just answered it. Your fuel consumption isn't going to be the same. Some drivers their driving style uses more fuel than others. So whenever you go into for that pit stop, it's going to take more fuel to fill up the car, and that's exactly the same problem that Chad had. Was he obviously was using quite a bit more fuel, and I, that answered that question for me. How come you had that extra time in the pits, and it boiled down to your fuel consumption? So yeah, that's great to get that answer.
Oh, it's 100% fuel consumption. I think everyone would have changed tyres. Even the guys that are good on fuel would have still had time to change tyres. So it all comes down to the fuel. And Nigel, having that 9 seconds up the road after the pit stops, suggests he was about maybe 7 seconds quicker in the pits. So taking a lot of less fuel. He had over a lap left when he finished, even though he took less. I ran out 2 corners later, even though I took 6 seconds more. So over such a long race, fuel consumption is very important, obviously.
Well, I am Nigel's teammate, so he better tell me his tricks before I get on track tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully he does. You know, as a spectator or broadcaster, you just don't think about that it has that big of important of a role. Now, I was concerned about Nigel's fuel whenever he left the pit so soon, and whenever I seen that he had only a 18-second pit stop, I was like, man, he had to have taken less fuel, and I was really concerned that he wasn't going to make it to the end. But to see that he had a lap of fuel left after, and drivers like you run out right after, so that's the fuel consumption margin, the difference, and just the driving style of different people. It's it's amazing that it can play that big of a role. Is there anybody you'd like to thank this week, Mike?
No, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Racecrafters. If anyone hasn't had a look at what that's all about, they can get onto our team page via Facebook and check that out. Makes a very good gear. I'm using it myself. And my teammate for his help in the setups, time we put in together, and obviously you guys for an excellent broadcast.
Well, thank you, Michael, for joining us after the race for some comments. You definitely shown some light on the fuel consumption thing. I definitely appreciate that. How are you looking for Oran Park next week?
Yeah, I think I'll be about as competitive as I was here today. A bit higher up in the midfield, and I'll be happy. The championship's so tight. I'm going to have to find something special there, I think. But I don't think you'll find me on the top step of the podium, but possibly a bit higher than the midfield I'll be looking at.
Well, great race to you, Michael, for a fantastic race, finishing at 5th place, a tough field, so it really was a good drive. I know some of it was spent just out of the draft, so you kind of spent a lot of it alone, but still it's a fantastic effort to come home 5th in this field tonight.
Yeah, thanks, Kane. It's a very strong field, that's for sure.
Michael Fulcher, everybody. Bring in SDC Motorsports driver Nigel Baines.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Kane, Marty.
How are you, Nigel?
Ah, pretty tired after that one. That was a pretty big battle for me most of the race, so that was a tough one for sure.
You put on a tremendous show with Bo Cattell and Tobias Zerny there. Talk us through some of that side-by-side action.
Just fighting for my life to keep them behind. I definitely didn't have the pace to be in front of them. The early contact with Marlon made my car feel horrible. I had no rear grip pretty much for the whole race after that for some reason, so it was just a struggle. So I was trying to be as clean as I could and keep him back, and in the end I said to Bo pretty much, I can't fight him anymore. I had to let him go, and then he made that mistake, and And the same thing with Tobias in the end. He had a good run up from the inside, and I had to kind of just give way and nearly threw a couple of positions away, but held on for fourth. So it's pretty good for the championship, and good to see Fast Fulch behind me.
Yeah, definitely. You got a couple points for the divisional championship on Michael there, and you almost got two crossed up, letting Tobias past.
Yeah, don't really know what happened there. I thought I'll just tuck back in behind him, and next thing, like I said, I had no rear grip, and that late in the race, I had literally, it was like driving on ice. It was just horrible. But yeah, I kind of started to loop in. I'm like, oh, don't fully spin, and just collect it up and get back going. And I think I had like a second back to Michael at the time with about 5 laps to go. So just glad to bring it home then fourth in the end and take the points. And we look forward to Oran Park.
Yeah, well, you definitely had a night full of excitement. You all race long. You was in an intense battle with somebody. If it wasn't Bo-Catel, it was Tobias Zerny. So definitely intense. We said that you had to have ripped the mirrors off and just looking straight ahead in order to maintain, because that would have drove anyone else insane. Just the pressure. And but you kept it cool, and so
It didn't feel too cool in the cockpit, I'll be honest with you, Kane. It might have looked cool for you guys, but yeah, just you're watching that split, and you'll see point 2 and point 1, and like you're just trying to leave enough room. I think I squeezed Bo a little bit at one point. Kind of didn't quite give him enough room and squeezed him on the grass there, but all good. It was a good battle. And yeah, kind of like I say, just happy to bring it home there in fourth in the end. It was a fun race, but it's a long race for sure. He is, so yeah, good fun, and well done to Marlon. I mean, that must make the championship pretty close between Marlon and Chad right now.
yeah, it's definitely gonna put you right up in there in points. And Warren Park's definitely going to be an intense race. So there's going to be lots of points battles going on as we enter Warren Park next week. How are you looking for Warren Park? Have you done much testing at the track yet?
Nothing yet, but I can't remember. Was it? It might have been first on the schedule last season, so it's almost like 2 full seasons ago, I guess. But no, I'm looking forward to returning there. I'm kind of racing around guys that I wouldn't normally be, so my pace has improved, and I think Oran Park should be good, but qualifying, even though it's a long race, I think qualifying is still pretty important. So yeah, we'll try and get a good qualifier in, and try and start somewhere near the front there, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, congratulations, Nigel, on a hard-fought fourth place. That was probably one of your most hard-fought races of the season. And to come home in fourth place, that was definitely a fantastic effort.
Yeah, thanks guys, appreciate that.
But I must say, Nigel, just before you go, how did you make it on fuel?
No problem. Yeah, 16 for me is fine. I can run flat out. I can do 27 and a half laps, I guess, on a full tank. So I knew I could pit at 16, let it fill up, and it was good to the end.
Yeah, just a few of the other guys that pitted after you were still struggling on fuel. You did have the quickest pit stop on the race. It did bring you out in front of Chad. Chad had a very abnormally slow pit stop for some reason. You were nearly 6 seconds faster in the pit stops. I noticed you didn't hold him up too much when he got to you.
No, made a bit of a mistake actually, and he got a bit of a run, and another one where it was just easier for me to just kind of don't try and mess things up, slot in behind. And I was hoping to tag on, and I think it was Bo at the time was a few seconds back. I was hoping to just stay with Chad if I could, but like I say, my car was just it was horrible. It just wasn't much fun to drive all race long. So yeah, it was the pit. Like I said, I'd figured out beforehand that I could do that many laps and didn't have to save tonight. So yeah, maybe I'm just my fuel consumption's good this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. Oh, well done on your fourth place, and hopefully that moves you a little bit closer to taking the Division 2 championship, and look forward to Oran Park next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, Matty. Thanks, King. Yeah, it's been a great season for me this season. Back end of the season, we just seem to be getting a little bit quicker. So need to work on the race pace a little bit. Qualifying's pretty good right now. Bit more race pace, and maybe we'll look to get into the Aussie broadcast there too. Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Hey, g'day boys. Hey, how you going, Kane, Marty?
Good, mate.
Are we done with that? Yeah, we had we had a pretty good battle with us little slower ones at the back, but there wasn't a real lot between us, and I got pushed to the back with a couple of mistakes, and I gained a mistake when Zach ran off, and then I went to the back, and then pitted early and jumped a couple of them, all bar Zach, so and then lost it back at the end, but yeah, no, pretty similar in pace, and yeah, it's a pretty good race in there. Yeah, I was at Winton on the weekend and into the Volvo garage and took a few photos there, and I tried to match the colour of the Volvo scheme. I've got it fairly close, and our sponsors, Altitude Volvo, actually had the demo car there, the S60, in the pit area there, or the paddock area there where all the merchandise is. So I'm sort of trying to match their colour, and yeah, I reckon it come up all right. Oh, I had a lot of trouble there, most of the races there, and then actually the last time we ran there, I wasn't over bad, so it must be picking up. I hope it keeps picking up. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully I'll be able to stay mid to backpack again. Yeah, he's been having a lot of connection problems all day. I don't know. He just had a newborn during the week, so he's a new dad. Well, new dad for the second time. Yeah, and then he said the sound went. He had a race yesterday, and his sound totally went beforehand, and I could hear he's through the team speak. It was his sound was playing up, and he got in the race, and he had to do a couple more resets, and he said, "I hope it lasts." Yeah. Then I seen the sound in fell to unacceptable level. I thought, oh no. So that's too bad. The races, well, disconnects that have caused him problems. You weren't racing today, Marty. I was.
No, I was
Expecting you.
filling in for JD up in the booth today.
Ah,
So
right. Yep.
you get my sweet voice all race long.
Well, that's all right. Easy listening, mate.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah, well done, Marty. I can. I've got the details up there if you need a run through. We got we got Martin Creamers 2. He ended up winning the race by about 28 seconds. I think he had a fairly clear run. He was fastest lap was a 1:34.4, and the next quickest was a 1:35 flat, which was Phil Jones in second, and Adam Harden got third. So Isaac De Figueiredo, he was in fourth, and Scott Breckenridge got fifth. So there's your top five. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that was your top five. Oh, after that, the leader was fairly close after that. So yeah, good to see Scott back there. I've been racing with Scott in America since the start. So yeah, exactly that. They wanted to race this car, and they got a few people interested, and it's grown to what it is now, and it's it's getting a live broadcast. So big credit to them guys. Yeah. We love guys that love our little Aussie V8. So yeah. And it's like I was saying before in the back room there. It's just great racing. I've been doing a bit of the rough racing, and it's like it says, it's rough. The guys just have no respect. You get in this V8 race, and everyone races hard, but they've just got so much respect for each other. Yeah, yeah. The quality only seems to get better and better, and it's just so much fun to race with like that. All right. Um, I'd love to thank V8's Online, you guys in the commentary box, our sponsors, Altitude Volvo Brighton. I had a good weekend last weekend with them at Winton, and got to have a good close look at their car. So yeah, big thanks to them, and Gary Rogers Motorsport for letting me in there. So yeah, all good. Really enjoying the help they give us, and the team.
Yeah, that's just fantastic. Well, Graham, thanks for joining us here in the post race. We appreciate you coming in and chatting with us. Marty, anything else you want to add?
No, I think that's all. It's awesome. Just with the series, and just reiterating on what Graham says there, just about the sportsmanship within the series, and it's only going to grow bigger and better from here. So looking forward to the finale next week, and on to bigger and better things for season 2.
Yeah, great. Bones, thanks for joining us. That's Graham. That's Graham Filan, everybody.
Thanks, Scott.
Driver of the Altitude Volvo Ford Falcon. That's kind of almost like a tongue twister, almost, because you're saying Volvo and Ford Falcon all in the same sentence, but Altitude Volvo is a car dealership, and that is why we say altitude Volvo Ford Falcon. So Marty, that is what a great race we had tonight. Fantastic, actually. We had several great battles throughout the field. Lots of great sportsmanship, as many of the drivers have mentioned, and Bo Cattell coming from the back, clear to third place. Some fantastic driving tonight.
Oh, definitely, and big congratulations to Marlon on his drive, and yeah, let's get forward. Let's get ready for next week. Let's see Marlon and Chad go at it again for winner takes all.
Yeah, next week is going to be fantastic. Everybody, make sure that you come watch that race. We're talking just a couple points between the first place and second place going into next week. Oran Park, going to be a long race. Pit stop race, going to have strategy involved as well. Man, I just can't stress enough how awesome that's going to be, Marty. And you're going to be back on the racetrack.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure pulling in with you today, Kane, for JD. But yes, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back behind the wheel next week for Oran Park.
Yeah, a little bit of an extended post-race show tonight, as we didn't have JD here to monitor the post-race as good as he is at doing that. So a little bit of an extended post-race so that we can get to know our drivers a little bit better. So that fantastic. Marty, thank you so much for filling in for JD. It has been a pleasure. You've done a fantastic job, and man, I appreciate it extremely.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity, Kane, and yeah, anytime you need me, I'm more than happy to come up here in the booth and help you out.
Awesome. We now know that you are a man of several talents, as you are just as good in the broadcast booth as you are on the racetrack. Thank you so much for helping out. It really has been a great broadcast, and I appreciate it.
No, thank you, and good night all.
Good night, everybody. Make sure you join us next week. As we've said before, we're going to Oran Park. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be unbelievable. You don't want to miss it.
Muggleton just has to cross over this crest. He will cross the line and will win the championship.